Hello, dear Taurus. I'm Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your June 2021 horoscope. And we have quite a bit of activity. I'm sure you're already feeling the effects of the eclipse that we just had on the 26th of May. And we're going to have another eclipse this month. We're also in the middle of Mercury being retrograde in Gemini. It actually just went retrograde on the 29th of May. And the reason I'm bringing up the eclipses already is because we can feel the effects usually a month before or a month after. It's not always on the exact date. So if there is a theme that occurred for you at, say, November, December, January of this last year, then you're most likely closing out that theme, making some decisions around whatever was active for you at that time. Now, I would venture to say that what got activated has a lot to do with your second and eighth house, and that is because you're working with the Gemini Sagittarius eclipse, like we all are, and they are falling in your second and eighth house. Now, granted, this is for a Taurus rising, but if your sun or moon is also in Taurus, then there are similar themes that have probably been active for you. And even though I'm talking about making decisions in the middle of a Mercury retrograde, it's okay, because very often what happens during a Mercury retrograde is things from the past, decisions that we've made, conversations we've had, people and relationships that have either gone away or that we were considering to let go of. It's all coming back to revisit, redo, rejuvenate, all those REs that take place, and that affects our decision. It also, with Mercury retrograde, can cloud our decisions. It can cloud our mind. It can cause us maybe to think one thing, but the reality is something else, because the trickster comes out during the retrograde. Now, with the Mercury retrograde in your second house, it's possible that you are renegotiating a salary for your income. You may be renegotiating buying a car that maybe what you had paid for it, or you're having to deal with it, because when we're working with Mercury, we're working with transportation. In the second house, we're working with income and physical possessions. Most likely, you're looking at, again, that eighth house activation with investments. And so there could be a revisiting of a loan that you had worked with that maybe you got denied. Now your credit's better and you can reapply, but it may take time, because with a Mercury retrograde, things get delayed. The other thing is you may be waiting on a job offer and it just hasn't come yet. Please be patient. Take your time, revisit some of the things that maybe you agreed upon or that you were negotiating. That this is a great time to renegotiate maybe your current contract that you have with work and say, hey, let's have some talk about why I deserve a raise, or hey, I got hired a few months ago and now you promised that I would get an increase based on merit review, that sort of thing. I'd like to have that conversation now. There's also a good indication that you may be looking at purchasing things for your home or your office. And while I am not a doom and gloom with Mercury retrograde, it is important to make sure you get warranties. Make sure that let's say you're purchasing a new sofa, get the stain guard. You're going to be grateful that you do down the road, even if it doesn't occur right now when Mercury's retrograde. The other thing I would venture to say is that you're most likely going to have a lot of conversation that needs to have clarity, and you're not necessarily going to get it during the month of June. So it's important to create a little spaciousness, come back and revisit it. When Mercury goes direct on the 21st, stations and goes direct 21st, 22nd, depending on where you live in the world. And so it's good for this first 3 weeks of June to talk, converse, try not to take things personally as Venus moves into Cancer in your third house on June 2nd. So right at the beginning of the month, it'll be easy for us to take words very personally And also it can find that if you are working, let's say that second house activation, and you're working to negotiate something, to buy something, or to have an increase in your income, using Venus in Cancer can actually help you communicate in a very gentle and yet, I'll call it manipulative, but not necessarily in a bad way. It can allow you to have the conversation about money, for instance, which Venus rules, finances, and it's basically allowing you to say, I need this because it will benefit not only my income and my family life, but it will also be of benefit to you, employer. And how do I nurture? That's the Cancerian message, and Taurus and Cancer are fine friends. So this is a natural sextile for you, by the way, to your sun, moon, and rising with Venus here. So it can give you an opportunity to use your words to nurture others, to nurture yourself, and to be able to say, hey, if you give me this opportunity, I'll make sure I'm a good caretaker, I'm a good parent or a good mother to whatever I am in charge of. I would also say that we have a Gemini new moon eclipse in that second house on June 10th. This could provide you with that new opportunity. Please go ahead and sign on the dotted line. Again, get a second opinion, get a second set of eyes. Keep in mind, stay flexible. I know that's not easy, Taurus, but stay flexible that not everything is as it appears to be, and you may have to renegotiate down the road. It's okay, because this, I feel, is going to help push you forward in such a new way. Some of you Tauruses are moving residences. And so in the second house activation, you may be letting go of one residence and moving to another because of a change in your income, or because there are physical things, obviously, that you're letting go of. And maybe you're buying new furniture because you've moved, or you're finding that a new source of income comes to you to support the next phase of what's happening for you. Some of you as well have also released something from the past that now gets to be redone and renewed in a new way. I would venture to say that this has a lot to do with home and income. The reason that I'm pointing to that again is because June 11th, we have Mars moving into Leo. And Mars likes being in Leo. It is that fire sign Mars gets energized by, and it's in your fourth house. So this could make you feeling more confident that you made the right choice and decision with where you're at. It can also give you a chance to be able to deepen the roots, if you will, of what feels like home to you, because you have this extra oomph or this extra energy or sexiness with Mars there that says, yeah, this is exactly where I need to be. It will also probably, with Venus in Cancer and Mars in Leo in this fourth house, Venus being in that third house, you may find yourself really protective and actively protecting family and home. And it may be, I'll use the example of a new space. Even if you're not in a new space, it may feel like it's re-energized for you, that you may decide that you want to share it with others, but you're going to be very particular about who you share it with. Because if they don't benefit or they don't add value to what you are wanting people to experience in this place, you may decide that doesn't matter, that they don't matter, and that they're not welcome. It also has a good indication here that you will be most likely fighting for the loyalty, finding out who really is family to you, and making sure that they express it and that they are in alignment with what you view as your close friends and family. There is an indication here, because there is always a shadow side to everything, that you may have to step in and take care of, say, a father figure, or you may be up against a male figure here that is threatening your home and your home life. And if that's the case, let's just say that because your second and eighth house are pretty active, that you may end up letting go around that new and full moon that happens this month. You may maybe letting go of an income or letting go of some sort of relationship that has felt too authoritarian or too constricting and maybe controlling, and you're ready to branch out and step out on your own, or you're ready to take on something that allows you to shine. And then we also have Jupiter retrograding in Pisces in your 11th house, meaning you may have a chance to have other groups and group activity. Your friends, your friends and friendships can be really active here in allowing you to have faith that you're making the right choice and decision. I would say, Taurus, that you're going to have to take a leap of faith this month, and that's hard during a retrograde like Mercury, as well as then Jupiter retrograding, because you may not have all the answers. You may not have all the information that you would feel most comfortable in making a decision like that. But with the Capricorn full moon making this wonderful trine to your 9th house, I feel as though this is going to give you a sort of a leapfrog into taking leaps of faith, because it will push you to expand your success and your feelings of achievement. That full moon in Capricorn happens on the 24th of June. So Mercury will have stationed and moved direct. It still won't be out of shadow. So that's what's giving me that little indication here that you may not have all the answers that you want or that you need. Another piece of this is June 25th, Neptune will retrograde in your 11th house as well. So it may be that your friends are helping you paint this picture that isn't quite clear. And again, you're going to have to be really secure in your own heart and your own body and mind of saying, you know, this is a grand experiment. Let's just see where this goes. Again, Venus in Cancer can help you to attract relationships as well as finances, as well as values, because remember, Venus is your ruler. It can help you attract the security that you need. So if you're feeling a little out of sorts at the beginning of June, it's okay to hold off and make a decision towards the end of June if you can. At the end of the day, if I had to give this nice little package for June for Taurus, then it is going to be taking leaps of faith. And you know, letting the chips fall where they may. I think it's really about making some decisions and being decisive and not always knowing what that next step is. You can adjust along the way. June 27th, Venus will move out of Cancer and into Leo in your 4th house, giving you a little more confidence in, and maybe a little bit more protectiveness, but also the ability to have this sense of harmony and peace and beauty in your home. And I feel as though if it's not at the end of June, it will be into July, that you can start to look back at some of the decisions you've made in the month of June and say, yeah, it wasn't always easy. I wasn't always clear, but I am understanding and I am attracting and receiving confirmation, whether it's through more income or whether it's through right relationship, that I've made the right decision. Now, one other thing I want to point out, Taurus, is we do want to talk about relationships. So, because that is a big theme for all of us human beings, right? And with, as I say, Venus ruling your sign, I'm sure relationship is always on your mind in some way, shape, or form, whether you're feeding it or whether you're wondering, is this the right one or whatnot? And I would venture to say that June is going to activate for those single Tauruses a relationship from the past coming back for you to revisit and to really look at and say, does it line up with my values? As well as, is this really the relationship that I can see myself long term? Because we're going to be working with still that eclipse energy in Sagittarius, which is long and visionary and really open-mindedness. And then this new moon eclipse in Gemini is setting a new theme for the next 6 months where you get really curious. And I would say that if this past relationship, or if you meet somebody new, the curiosity that kicks in, there should be a lot of fun and flirty energy. The person, if you're single, that you attract new to you should start to feel like they are activating some curiosity or activating this idea for you of, hey, we actually could be like friends. That even though we're dating, there's a friend quality to it as well. And some people carry the philosophy that you should be friends with your partner before you make them your lover, kind of thing. Now, if you're in a bonded relationship, Taurus, then you will most likely be revisiting some of the conversations that you've had. If the relationship has been tumultuous, I would venture to say that this is a good month for you to go into couples therapy if you're not already. If you are, you may decide that you're going to lighten it up a little bit, because Gemini likes it light and fun. So does Sagittarius. And those are the eclipses that we're in right now. And so you may find ways in which you can communicate a little bit more clearly when Mercury gets out of retrograde motion. But in the beginning, you may be revisiting some issues that were just too much or too heavy to work through until now. And this is a perfect time for talk therapy, for coaching, for anything that allows you to communicate. And you may take on that subject matter in a little bit lighter kind of energy. And again, if I can emphasize, the Gemini energy is curiosity. Stay curious. I wonder why I react that way. I wonder why I want what I want. I wonder why this relationship is being such a spiritual teacher right now for me. And so I do offer that with the 11th house activation of Jupiter in Pisces right now for you, that some of your best counsel and some of your best opportunities to kind of talk through things and to stay really curious will be your friends. So, all right, Taurus, I really hope that this helps, gives you a little taste of what is coming for the month of June. Please keep me posted. Find me at jamiedawn.com. Like, subscribe, share, comment to this channel. And I look forward to celebrating and supporting you however I can. Have a great month, Taurus.